Yo, 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 what's up, guys? I see everyone popping in here. Israel is here. Teddy is here. What's up? Let's get this reaction going. One Piece. Let's get it going. What's up? What's up, Teddy? What's up, Israel? How you guys doing? I literally just got home like 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, where I've been gone for like the past 2 weeks. Monair is here. What's good, bro? So, first thing, as soon as I got home, I'm like, let's just get it going. Let's pop up the live stream and let's get this live reaction going. Let's just wait a couple minutes to see some people come in here because I know the usual faces that come in here. Monera, good to see you. Teddy, good to see you. Israel, good to see you guys. So I'm just gonna tell you guys now. In the past few days, I have been spoiled, and you wouldn't believe how I got spoiled or who spoiled me, I should say. Of all people, I follow Uzumaki Khan on YouTube, right? And everyone knows Uzumaki Khan is always the guy that gets spoiled by manga readers over like the past 6, 7 years, however long it's been now. He's constantly been getting spoiled, and the last person I would have ever thought I would need to like hide like the notifications from after a One Piece chapter comes out is Uzumaki Khan. Obviously, it's not his fault at all. He's just posting his videos, but I didn't like stop his channel from popping up when I know a chapter's out, like I do most YouTubers. And so I got spoiled on his. So I know it's about Buggy, and I know Buggy gets like a big W in this chapter. And then I saw someone else's. I don't remember who it was, but someone else put on their thumbnail that like Buggy has a new ability. So I'm just gonna be straight honest with you guys. Like, I'm not gonna pretend I don't know these things. I know that Buggy does something good for him that makes him look good, and that he has some kind of new ability or something like that. So it's about Buggy. So I'm assuming we're gonna see cross guild. And when I clicked on TCB right now, it says chapter 1082. Let's go and claim it. And that's what Shanks said last time. So I don't know if Shanks is going to be in this chapter. But let's see. We're gonna jump straight into it. Let's see here. Hold up. Did I share this on Twitter? I think I shared it on Twitter, right? Yeah, I shared it on Twitter. Okay. So we're going to jump straight into the chapter. Let's go. Chapter 1082. Let's go and claim it. Plus, I got some DMs telling me this is a pretty big chapter, so you're gonna want to stay away from spoilers. So I know it's a big chapter. So I already know it's not gonna be Egghead stuff. It's gonna be, I'm assuming now it's gonna be cross guild. So we got Chopper biting on Prometheus, or sorry, Zeus. Chopper mistaking Zeus for cotton candy and taking a bite by Kamita Hanaoto. Oh, whoa. This is the guy from Vice Admiral T-Bone. Yeah. This is the guy from Ennis Lobby with Zoro. Remember, in the train. I would have never. This is the last thing I'd ever expect. Killed. Yo, we're starting the chapter off like this. A Vice Admiral killed. A known character. Bro, he was a good guy too. He was definitely one of the more likable Marines. Hold on. I haven't even read anything yet. The newspaper says Navy HQ officer dead. Vice Admiral T-Bone killed. So he's a Vice Admiral now. Vice Admiral T-Bone was adored by civilians and Marines alike. News of his death shocked the world, but the Navy refused to comment on the details on the incident. And an obituary makes the front page. Interesting. Yo, Max Moon, what's up, bro? Another banger chapter. Cross Guild is insane. Okay, let's not. The basic rule, I would think it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyways, just in case, because I'm seeing it happening all streams. Let's try not to talk about the chapter until I'm done reading it, guys, please, because I don't know. I've already been spoiled that it's about Buggy, so I know it's probably about Cross Guild, but still, I don't want to read like stuff like that in the chat, right? Because it's kind of spoilerish. Navy headquarters, Sengoku. Have they caught the man who did it? Suru. Nope, not yet. But we're certain the culprit's family is bound to be pretty well off after this. What's the world coming to, Otsuru-chan? The civilians were sworn to protect. The civilians we are sworn to protect are stabbing us in the back. It's unbearable. What are you talking about? You guys didn't protect no one. Well, they did protect them, but they're far from justice. Pirates aren't the only ones interested in money, you know. We Marines have bounties on our heads now. It's only natural for people to come after us. Oh my god, they killed T-Bone because of Cross Guild. Bro, of all the Marines that you could have killed because of Cross Guild, you kill one of the good ones. One of the handful of good ones. One of the handful of likable ones. Why couldn't you kill any of those other shitty ones? Why couldn't you have killed Spandam? Why couldn't you have killed that guy that was in Arlong Park that was still stealing Nami's money? That guy with the cat dude. Why couldn't you have killed any other one, but you killed the likable one? We Marines have bounties on our heads. It's only natural for people to come after us, especially in a place like Pepe Kingdom, where over 1,000 die of starvation every year. It's no wonder he was killed there. Poverty and wealth, we all adapt to our circumstances. Yep. Just look at Kaido. Look at Kaido's backstory. Not that I'm trying to defend the culprit, of course. Just noting that if this is what that darn clown had in mind, we've severely underestimated him. How can you protect and serve the people if you have to constantly look over your shoulder when you are around them? The same people that you're going to protect could be the people that end your life. Yo, Buggy just flipped the entire Marine handbook upside down. They don't know what to do now. If we don't neutralize this cross-guild group soon, this will kill the morale of every Marine and weaken the whole Navy. See, it's a psychological thing too. It's so good because putting bounties on them is going to mess with them psychologically. Hey, Hina, have you seen Garp? There's a new rice cracker flavor I want him to try. He's fighting Blackbeard. Does Sengoku not know this? He said he's off to save Kobe a few days ago. So he's probably teamed up with Sword. Pretty sure Kujaku's with him at least. What? Yeah, Sengoku didn't even know Garp's plan. Sengoku is like his best friend. He had no idea. Garp is... What a character Garp is, man. This guy just wakes up one morning, gets out of bed, and decides he's going to go fight a Yonko and not tell anybody. What? Don't tell me they've gone to Hachinosu. Gotta be honest, the death of T-Bone made me sad. He was the kindest Marine, and when he was revealed to be a Vice Admiral, I was excited to see him in action. Was he revealed to be a Vice Admiral earlier? Because I don't remember, to be honest. I just remember him fighting Zoro in Enies Lobby on the train, like that quick little clash. But he definitely wasn't a Vice Admiral back then, because Vice Admirals were a really big deal back then. And he wasn't. He wasn't even like a strong smoker. And Smoker couldn't touch the Vice Admiral title at that time. Oh, we're going back? Oh no, we're going to Cross Guild. I thought we were going to Hachinosu for a second. Empty Bluffs Island, New World. Good job crossing the seas and making it here. Thank you. Be proud the emperors of the underworld are smiling because of you. Be proud the emperors... Good job crossing the seas and making it here. Thank you. Be proud. The emperors of the underworld are smiling because of you. Everyone is proclaiming the birth of a new star, a champion of evil. Buggy? Why did I think that was Orochi for a second? I got PTSD, man. Oh my god, I got Wano PTSD. I don't know why I thought that was Orochi. I heard my family received a payment. Thank you so much. Don't mention it. You took down one of Navy headquarters' finest admirals. Your evil charisma incarnate. Stop being so humble. Haha. Buggy's so evil, man. Your crazy stunt really shocked the Marines. They'll have your head for sure if they catch you. Even if I can't see my family ever again, it's better than watching them die of starvation. Man, this is so messed up. The Marines, the pirates, and these poor civilians are stuck in the middle of it. They're being used as weapons against the Marines. Rest easy, friend. We'll take care of you as a fellow pirate. As a pirate? Get it. One of the emperors is taking you under his wing. The bombastic clown himself, Buggy-sama. He's on another level. The 2-bit pirate. The 2-bit pirates you've met before aren't fit to lick his. I know who he's talking about. He's talking about Crocodile Mihawk. He was revealed to be a vice admiral when he gave a message to Akainu about Fujitora being in Murijoa. Okay, so I remember that scene. I do remember that we saw him once again post time skip, and I remember that. But I didn't know he was revealed to be a vice admiral back then. When he gave a message to Akainu about Fujitora being in Murijoa. Interesting. I didn't realize he was a vice admiral. Thanks for pointing that out, Teddy. Garp runs. Monera says Garp runs his own solo and Garp runs his ones solo and dishes out them hands to anyone who wants them. Oh, Garp runs his ones solo and dishes out. I get it. I hate Sengoku saying, "How are we supposed to protect the innocent when they could just kill us? Like, how are the common citizens supposed to bow down to the celestial dragons when they could die to them?" That's the thing. It's so it's contradictory. It's hypocritical, I should say, from Sengoku. It's not like he's acting as if the civilians could really trust the Marines with their lives anyways. And the truth is they couldn't. Overall, in the grand scheme of things, yes, they do protect the people for the greater good. But we saw what they did to the innocent people of Ohara. We saw what they did to the people on Fishman Island. Not Fishman Island, on Sabaody. They pick and choose who to protect, and who to just deem worthless. Like, your life is just worthless because we say so, even though you are innocent. And so if the Marines are just choosing who they can just kill because your life is worthless and who to protect, and you have no control over that, then you shouldn't trust them to begin with. So the people backstabbing the Marines and killing them, good. I'm just sad it was T-Bone. I actually liked T-Bone a lot, and I wish we got more of him before he died. But it is what it is, right? Never forget this moment. You're standing face to face with a living legend. But I like how Buggy's guys are calling them 2-bit pirates you've met before aren't fit to lick his boots. His commanders. Yeah, it's Buggy-sama in the flesh. Buggy in the flesh. Buggy in the flesh. Buggy in the flesh. Sorry to interrupt you, Barley-sama. You're so fresh. That makes me sound like some kind of cereal. What are these jokes? We finished it, sir. A ship worthy of Cross Guild. Leave the ship to me. I've got some talented shipwrights under me. Who is this? We got a big guy and a little guy. Or is that a woman? Leave the ship to me. I've got some talented shipwrights under me. Why would you block out, unless it's like Tom or something that you're going to bring back to life, why would you block out who it is? Do we know this person? Anyways. Oh, look at that ship. Look at the sails. It looks like a circus on a ship. And then Buggy on the front, Buggy's head, the 2 swords. Making you the figurehead was the obvious choice, Chairman Buggy. I think it worked. I think it turned out great. He's probably worried Mihawk and Crocodile are not going to like it. You expect us to use... Yeah. He's already thinking about it. You expect us to use this thing? Let's take this to the meeting room. Let's hear it for the greatest ship ever. You guys really outdid yourselves. In the meeting room. Is it CP0? Because I see the top hat. Is it Lucci? No. It looks like CP0. Or is it just top hats because they're in the circus? Drums of Liberation, what's up? Most Marines protect citizens. Akainu blew up Ohara because everyone else refused his order. Well, that wasn't the order. That's the thing. That was his order, but there was also another vice admiral there on equal rank that did not he did not give the green light for that at all, right? So, and it's not like we know it was confirmed, but from the higher ups to blow up that ship. Yo, Ringo's here. What's up, Ringo? Yo, the best character makes his move. What is up, Ringo? Good to see you. So, we know that Akainu just did that on his own. I don't remember because I know the five elders said destroy Ohara, but they didn't say destroy a ship of innocent kids and women and whatnot that have nothing to do with it, that are just fleeing, that don't really even have that knowledge from what we know, because they weren't the scholars. It's one thing to kill the scholars, but to just kill the regular citizens, they're hanging this guy's head in a cellar. Okay, let's see. This is the meeting. Public awareness of Cross Guild is growing as planned. The Navy is starting to understand the threat we pose. Please, just kill me already. The pain. We need to have unparalleled influence to form our utopia and become a strong military state. But before all that, we need to establish who the boss is. We need to establish our overwhelming power, right? Who's talking right now? Crocodile saying all this, right? This is wrong. This isn't how I wanted my life to go. And to do that, we've got to find a way to gather an enormous amount of wealth. You're saying we need wealth and power, right? Wealth, fame, and power. I may be out of the line here. And I know you may do away with me for saying this, but how can you call yourselves pirates with schemes like that? Buggy is calling out Mihawk and Crocodile. Hold on. We need to have unparalleled influence to form our utopia and become a strong military state. But before all that, we need to establish our power, our overwhelming power, right? And this is still Crocodile talking. And to do that, we've got to find a way to gather an enormous amount of wealth. You're saying we need wealth and power, right? Now it's Buggy talking. I may be out of line here, and I know you may do away with me for saying this, but how can you call yourself pirates with schemes like that? Look at the way they're looking at him. What did this cockroach just say? You're doing it all backwards. Look at Mihawk's face. That's the most emotion we've ever seen on Mihawk's face. Think about it. Buggy has fame, Crocodile has wealth, and Mihawk has power. Yo, that's so true. Yo, what's up, Monkey D. Luffy 24? What's good, bro? We're still early on in the chapter, so you caught it at a good time. We're just getting to the good stuff. Max Moon, that's a really good point. That's a very good point. Buggy has the fame, Crocodile has the wealth, and Mihawk has the power. Well, does Crocodile have the wealth? Because he needed Buggy to pay him back right now so that he can fund it. You must have heard, right? You know Red Hair is making... Whoa. This is still Buggy talking. I'm assuming to Mihawk. You must have heard, right? You know Red Hair is making his move too. We used to be on the Pirate King's crew together, but circumstances prevented us from going to Laugh Tale with the others. Now tell me, way back when, what did you guys want to be? Who's saying that? When I sailed with Shanks, he shone so brightly with potential, I knew I couldn't measure up, so I let go of my real dream. Oh man, when I sailed with Shanks, he shone so brightly with potential, I knew I couldn't measure up, so I let go of my real dream. That's why they had that scene 24 years ago, the day Gold Roger was executed. Yeah, this scene right here. You said it yourself, didn't you, Shanks? You said your crew would reach Laugh Tale one day. One day too. Yeah. But I've changed my mind for now, at least. You said it yourself, didn't you, Shanks? You said your crew would reach Laugh Tale one day too. Yeah. But I've changed my mind for now, at least. I'm not ready to go for it yet. What? But I'm still gonna be a pirate. I'm not ready to go for it yet. You're the next generation's king. I misjudged you. You're not the next generation's king. I misjudged you, Shanks. Come with me, Buggy. I'm not going to work under you, idiot. You coward. Bro, this makes my theory look more true. Because if you think about it, Shanks said that he wanted to go after it too right before Roger went to Laughdale. He said it to him, right? That's when he said he's going to bring his own crew one day. And then right after Roger came back and talked to Shanks and Shanks cried, it would make sense that's when he changed his mind and decided he's not ready to go for it. Because if in my theory, Roger would have told him everything that he found out and about Joy Boy and about the fruit and about Luffy, but not knowing it was Luffy at the time. So that's crazy. Don't you care about following in your Captain Roger's footsteps? You haven't forgotten, have you? It's your fault I lost that treasure map. I still haven't forgiven you for that. You better watch your back next time we meet. Man. This is good context on this meeting, because we knew about this meeting for a long time, but this is a lot of additional context to it. Buggy has more wealth, I'd imagine. Yeah, agreed. Or at least he has enough that Crocodile doesn't have enough that he needs Buggy, so he doesn't have that much wealth. That no good Shanks is finally making his move, but what good is it now? I don't know why, but somehow through luck or chance, or whatever, we're on equal footing again. Oh yeah, they are. As Yonko. And if that's the way it is, I may as well go ahead and say it. I wanna be king of the pirates. Yo. A moment for Buggy, man. Standing ovation for Buggy, bro. What a character this guy is. Now I see why everyone's saying this is like a good chapter for Buggy. Or why Buggy's on everyone's thumbnail and shit. I don't know why, but somehow, through luck or chance or whatever, we're on equal footing again. And if that's the way it is, I may as well go ahead and say it. I want to be king of the pirates. Yo, imagine Buggy actually becomes king of the pirates. We're all laughing because the story revolves around Luffy becoming king of the pirates. But Luffy wants to be king of the pirates so that he can achieve something else through that ability. And then what? He doesn't need to be king of the pirates after that dream is accomplished. So what if Luffy becomes... I know how people said, like, what if Blackbeard or Buggy become king of the pirates first and then Luffy becomes it? But what if Luffy becomes king of the pirates first by being Blackbeard, uses that title to achieve whatever he wants to achieve, and then we fast forward maybe like a year or 2 years and see how everyone's doing. And since Luffy's already accomplished everything he needs to accomplish, he's no longer king of the pirates, whether he's alive or dead. And we see that Buggy is the king of the pirates. And when the story actually ends, Buggy is legitimately the king of the pirates. That'd be pretty cool. I know we're all laughing, but we all laughed at the idea of Buggy being a Yonko. I remember when him being a warlord just blew our minds. Like how crazy that was. Like this guy's on the same level that Crocodile was on in Alabasta, Doflamingo, all these guys. He's on that level from a title standpoint. But even then, the gap between Warlord and Yonko was immeasurable, so no one thought. But then look what happened. So I honestly think the story might end with Buggy being Pirate King. Because there's a way you can still make Luffy achieve his dream. Mihawk, wealth, power, why stop there when you can have it all? Let's go for it. Let's go and claim the ultimate treasure. I've been calling it since Buggy is a Yonko. The 4 Yonko will meet at Laughdale. It's over. Luffy's done. Luffy's done, bro. Luffy's done. Luffy is done, bro. The bombastic clown is here. The true arch enemy to Luffy. Yeah, I can't believe you're deluded enough to buy your own con. Remember, we're only letting you keep that title of yours because it benefits us. Oh, I think they hit him. Crocodile hit him. Yeah, you see blood on his hook. Yeah, he hit him. And he looks pissed on the last page. I can't believe you're deluded enough to buy your own con. Remember, we're only letting you keep that title of yours because it benefits us. Yo, this is such a good chapter already. Every cross guild chapter is a good chapter. You think we're just going to carry you to the top? Well, imagine he carries them. Imagine he carries them to the top. We're not playing pirates here. This is serious business. You don't have a clue, let alone a plan. Do you really expect us to just go pick fights with Red Hair, Blackbeard, and Straw Hat? Well, you're not going to pick a fight with Red Hair? Uh-oh. Sounds like Mihawk's a bit worried about Shanks to me. And he dropped Shanks' name first, too. So those are the people he's most afraid of. The 3 Yonko, aside from Buggy. Do you really expect us to just go pick fights with Red Hair, Blackbeard, and Straw Hat? It's a scramble for the treasure. We only need to beat them to it. My bad, guys. Sorry about that, guys. We only need to beat them to it. Let me show you. There are some words that light a fire in the heart of every pirate, and it's because they all set sail for the same reason. That's true. Buggy is actually the right one here. He's right. They're wrong. Why wouldn't you go for it if you're a Yonko crew? Listen up, men. Stop it, Buggy. Huff, huff. What dream drove you all to the sea? Oh, they're stepping on his head. Listen up, men. What dream drove you all to the sea? Chairman Buggy wants to give us back that spark. Oh, man, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. Every moment you cling to life might be your last, so why ignore that screaming urge inside you? If you gave up because the reality of it was too daunting, now's your chance. It's time for us to set sail, to reach out and grasp what we all desire most. It's time for us to finally go and claim the One Piece. And everyone's going crazy. Everybody's going crazy. Crocodile doesn't like it. Yo, Crocodile's pissed. Why you? Mihawk is sweating. Yo. Oh my god. They're so dumb though. Why not? Like, yo, I wish Mihawk was more ambitious, man. Even just slightly more ambitious. He's like the least ambitious guy in the whole series. Like, what does this man live for aside from Zoro? Potentially, because he's not even sure. Zoro potentially growing to be strong enough to give him a good fight. Crocodile's pissed. Mihawk is sweating. And we cut away. Come on, man. Kamabaka Kingdom. Okay. Kamabaka Queendom. Grand Line. What you think about ship? It enemy or what? Who it be? This must be the Revs, right? We're Crash Clang. Want to bet on it? I wager it's an enemy who's in. I want to bet on it. I wager it's an enemy who's in. Sounds good to me. Gee, I'll put 1 mil on it. Being Sabo making a safe return. You what? Oh. Someone commented on one of the comments. I'm glad Sabo's still alive. So I'll spoil on that too. I already forgot, but reading this now, I remember. So I know Sabo's alive, but that's not really it's a spoiler. But it's a spoiler in the sense that I know we're going to get news on Sabo in this chapter and potentially Sabo himself. But Sabo himself being alive is not a spoiler. Let's be real. I'll put 1 mil on it being Sabo making a safe return. You what? Revolutionary Army Vice Captain of the West Army. Ushihano, Morley's subordinate. Revolutionary Army Vice Captain of the East Army. A hero, Bello Betty's subordinate. Revolutionary Army Vice Captain of the South Army. Gyombel, Lindbergh's subordinate. Revolutionary Army Vice Captain of the North Army, Jiron, Karasu's subordinate. So those guys were the captains, and these guys are the vice captains of Lindbergh, Karasu, Bello Betty, and Morley. Dragon Son, Eva Son, Sabo Son's back. There we go. So he made it home okay. Thank goodness. Can we see some more Dragon, please? And here's Sabo. Not a scratch on him. Not a scratch on him. Not a single scratch on him. That part's surprising. Teddy says, I genuinely believe that Buggy will be king of the pirates. I think that Luffy will find out how he doesn't need the title. Yeah, and we know that being king is just a stepping stone to Luffy's. Exactly. Like I was saying earlier, once Luffy gets the king of the pirate title, he can achieve what it is that he needs, and then he can just drop the title. Because I can also see Luffy being like, because without the need of the title to do what he wants, the title in itself is kind of like it's like vanity, right? And Luffy's not a guy that vanity comes to my mind when I think of him. So there's gonna be no reason for Luffy that barely cares about materialistic things like that. He doesn't care about gold. He doesn't care about treasure. He cares about deeper things than that, much deeper things than that, and things that are mostly intangible, right? Like family, friendships, dreams, like people's like whenever he saves a people, when he sees what's going on there, he doesn't care about physical objects or titles. He doesn't even care that he became a Yonko. He wasn't out here like celebrating it, and he wasn't looking around to see if he did become one like Kid was. So the title itself is not something that Luffy seems, it doesn't fit his character to care about a title to begin with, if that makes sense. And if you think about it, Roger didn't chase a title because there was no such thing at the time. Roger just wanted to sail everywhere and reach the end and find the truth, and he did. And because he did, they called him the King of the Pirates. So with Luffy, once he sails the world, he finds the truth and he accomplishes his main dream. The title King of the Pirates won't mean anything to him, because we understand that much about Luffy as a character, at least. Heavenly Way, what's up? Why would Luffy be king other than be god of pirates? Mihawk on fraud watch. Mihawk is always on fraud watch. This man has been on fraud watch for so long. Fraudhawk bro really went to hunt down Don Krieg, and now bro doesn't want to fight a guy with one arm, and I know he painted that sword black. This guy went think about this. This guy went from the Grand Line all the way to Baratier to fight Don Krieg, and his excuse was, I was bored, I needed entertainment. But when Shanks asked him, do you want to fight, he says, no, I don't want to fight you, I refuse. And then when Shanks comes to Marineford and challenges everyone, that's when he walks away. What happened? I thought you were bored. I thought you wanted entertainment, Mihawk. Okay, let's continue. Sabo's here. I knew something was up when you said you'd bet 1,000,000. I ain't coughing up a single berry. Nah, I'll wring it out of you. Oh, he already knew. Oh, you used those binoculars, didn't you? Want binoculars? What binoculars? Welcome back, Sabo. You think you can get away with it by eating them? Oh, he ate the binoculars. Welcome back, Sabo. Clack. Sabo, I was just about to shoot you. Glad you didn't. Everything okay, a hero? Were you worried? Maybe a little. Sabo, you safe, me happy. Not much of a vocabulary on this guy. That's a Lulusian ship. Lulusia, you mean the country that vanished? I'll explain later for now. Please, I'll explain later. For now, please help these guys. So Sabo doesn't seem, judging off of his vibe right now, I don't think anyone was hurt. I think Lulusia didn't vanish, but was transported and is now safe. Who's that, Koala? You just went radio silent. How could you do that to us? My bad, Koala. I didn't get my hands on an encrypted transponder snail. All my calls would have been monitored. It was monitored anyways. I used the usual 3-beat code to signal I was alright. Didn't you hear? I wasn't even on the Lucia when it happened. He wasn't on the Lucia? You made me so worried. Sorry. Could be referencing the SFX scene in chapter 1060. I'll have to go back to that. But let's continue. Sabo, why are all you boys like that? Murley, don't scare us like that again, silly. What happened? What's this? What? Huh? Bello Betty. I remember you losers from the Lucia. You've come a long way. It's a real shame what happened to your homes. But I heard you were hoping to join our cause. Yo, they're gaining so many. This is the fastest growing group in the series. Forget about the Straw Hat Alliance. Honestly, I think the Revs are growing faster. Yes, ma'am. First things first. Get some rest. We'll straighten you out after that. Yo, I just got here. We at the end of the chapter. Yo, what's up, young Smokey? No, we are not at the end. From what it looks like, we're about 70, 65, 70% through. Just looking at the scroll bar. I don't want to scroll down. Right now, we're at the part where Bello Betty's talking to the people of Lelucia. So we know Sabo's good. Sabo's arrived on the home base. Uh, well, let's be fair. He didn't want to fight Shanks because he lost an arm, and we know that he lives for the swordsman honor just like Zoro. By the way, Shanks would annihilate him in my opinion. Shanks would annihilate. Shanks would definitely beat Mihawk. But then why did he chase Don Krieg all the way across half the world basically? If he is the fraud, then who's going to fight Zoro? Shanks. Shanks versus Zoro is going to be the fight for the world's strongest swordsman. Mihawk's going to be watching it from the sidelines. This chapter is nuts. It is. So far it is. Nah, kid died. Revolutionary girl took his dough. Yo, I was thinking that too. Not that kid died, but I was thinking like her fruit is a lot like kids. Here, where is it? This page right here, where it's like whiz clack sounds, and it's like Sabo, I was just about to shoot you. That would be. Could you imagine, bro? Could you imagine if Eustace Captain Kidd and all the hype that was put into his character over the years, all the time, all the effort, 3 billion berries, and he's dead, and his fruit, he died off screen, and his fruit is with this random girl. The hype that would give Shanks, it would be insane. That's hilarious though. No, no, Mihawk is that guy level max in the MMORPG. Who no Mihawk is that guy at maximum level in an MMORPG who has done every quest except the last one because he's alone and he's bullying new players at the start. Yeah, he's bullying new players at the starting area, and then when players on his level come in, he that's when he's not interested. He's like, I'm not interested. But he'll chase the rookies all the way across the map to find them and kill them. Okay, so first things first, get some rest. We'll straighten it out after that. I heard about Kuma-san. Sorry about that. We let everyone's work. As soon as I hear Kuma, it's just like I don't think there's any character that gets me sitting up faster than Kuma right now in the story. I'm very interested in Kuma's storyline. I heard about Kuma-san. Sorry about that. We've let everyone's work go to waste. Don't worry. I know you two are taking it the hardest. So we got a meeting between Dragon, Sabo, and Ivankov. Revolutionary. Yo, is that their logo? Is that their Jolly Roger? Have we ever seen their Jolly Roger? This is sick. This is so sick. It's got three claws above this person's face, two wings on the side. Wings or ears, I'm not sure. And then RA for Revolutionary Army. That is sick. I like that a lot. The three claws. Wasn't that from the Sun Pirates? Hold on. One Piece Sun Pirates logo. It was like the. Oh, no, 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 no. What's the Celestial Dragon logo? Celestial Dragon logo. Okay, it's the Celestial Dragon logo I'm thinking of that has three, but it's very different. He might have been programmed to return to Mary Joa as a contingency. So, Sabo, you don't want the captains hearing what you've got to say. You just hearing it might put your life at risk. Imu. He's gonna tell him about Imu. What the hell? Or what the hell? There was some major trouble at the reverie. I'll tell you all about what really happened at the Holy Land of Mary Joa. Ah, chapter 1082 end. The truth comes to light. We're getting Shanks, we're getting Garp the next chapter, Blackbeard and Kuzan, Sabo. The hype keeps going. Ooh, that's fire. That Sabo spread colored by Grayish. That's amazing. That's a really good coloring. Okay, so that's chapter 1082. That was pretty good. That I feel like that lived up to the hype from what I was hearing. Yo, John Phillips, what's up, bro? What's up, bro? It's all right. It's all right. We just finished, but we're going to talk about it. We're definitely going to talk about it, so stick around for that. I got to do a better job at letting you guys know when I'm going to live react to this. Like, I know I told you guys either Sunday or Monday. It's just my schedule is literally all over the place. So as soon as I got home, I was like, let me just live react to it now. Kuma needs to nerf because Devil Fruit is too broken, and I think it's the strongest Paramecia fruit. It's not that broken. It's broken, but I don't know. Maybe if he gets really creative with it, but I don't see how it's going to be a better Paramecia fruit than Laws, than Whitebeards, or now Blackbeards, than Big Moms, right? Fujitoras. Maybe it can be more creative than Fujitoras. I would say if everyone was maxed out on creativity, every character was at 100 out of 100 on the creativity scale, I would say Big Mom would have the best Paramecia Devil Fruit. Because hers can be incredibly versatile. Well, actually, no, still Law. Any way you look at it, Law has the best fruit in the series. Any way you look at it. But Big Mom's, I think, is way more OP than Kuma's. And Whitebeards and Fujitora's. And Sugars as well. Bro, Kuma didn't get saved since Sabo was too busy checking out the empty throne. Like, legit, why was he there? What was he doing eating a sandwich? Who was eating? Wait, what? Since Sabo was too busy checking out the empty throne. Like, legit, why was he there? What was he doing? Eating a sandwich? Oh, no. They saved Kuma anyways, but I think it was like probably before they saved Kuma, they were infiltrating, right? So an infiltration mission is going to take a while. And while you're there, you're going to see stuff. So not only did they save Kuma, but they also found out the truth of Mary Joa. So it's a win-win for them. And it seems like no one in Lulusia got hurt. The island itself doesn't even seem like it got hurt. It got damaged. Oda is absolutely in his bag, Muner. Oda better actually tell us what happened, seeing that he uses the words, I'll tell you about it. No, he's not. He's not. Because if he was, he would have dropped a very important part in this final page. With Sabo, this final spread, it wouldn't just be, I'm going to tell you guys what really happened. It would be something that would be shocking to us. Even if it's not everything. Just one thing that's going to get us going like, whoa. That, what? And then we have to wait for the rest of it. But the way it ends now, no. This is just that we know that Dragon knows now. I'll tell you all about what really happened at the Holy Land of Mary Joa. That's crazy. So where does it go from here? Where can it go from here? That's what I'm thinking. With like these guys and Kuma and all that. Because if they find out about Imu, what are they going to prioritize? Kuma or the throne? And how exactly are they going to go about taking down Imu? And what exactly happened now with Lulusia Kingdom on 1060? Was it really destroyed? Was it transported? Who transported it if it was? Did anybody get hurt? Does Imu know that they're safe, or does Imu think they're destroyed? Did Imu go to destroy it, but then someone transported it last second? So many questions. Ringo says the Marines need some W. I expect Akainu to kill Dragon. Their fight has been heavily implied in Marineford. To kill Dragon is crazy. I don't think Dragon saved all this time so that Akainu can kill him. No way. I could be wrong, but I don't see it like that. But yeah, this chapter, the Marines need a W. Even just the start. What a start to a chapter. Just that first page is one of the shockingest starts I've seen in a while. Vice Admiral T-Bone is killed. It was adored by civilians and Marines alike. Man. Kuma's fruit is great, but it's not an S tier ranked devil fruit, in my opinion. No, in my opinion, it's not ranked that high. I did a video where I ranked devil fruits and I gave my reasonings as to why I ranked them. Just in case anyone is interested, because it was way back in my channel, like the early days. Not that far back, but I know a lot of you guys probably weren't here 6 months ago. Yeah, it was pretty far back. A lot of you guys probably don't know that I did a video on it, so I'm just going to share it here so you guys can watch it. Just know it's not going to be very good editing like now, because it was basically when I started. But I ranked the devil fruits and why I think they are where they are. I think Kuma's is great, but I don't think it's like top 10. I don't think it's a top 10. Where was I? Monair, I think the island actually got destroyed, and the few Lucians that survived were those willing to join the Revolutionary Army. But then how did they survive, and how come no one has a scratch on them? Sabo does it, and neither do the civilians, the remaining civilians. And no one is concerned. No one is like crying. No one is sad. It seems like Sabo is like, it's cool. We're good. Don't worry. What does he say here? He says, that's a Lelucian ship with like such a nonchalant face. Lelucia, you mean the country that vanished? I'll explain later. For now, please help these guys. I don't think anything happened to a single one of them. The famous words we've all been saying these last 4 chapters were last 4 chapters. Where do we go from here? Yes. Where do we go from here? Because if you look at 1060, when the Lelucians see the light, it seems to be coming up from above, yet the shadows on their faces. Whereas when Sabo sees the light, it seems to be coming from a sideward angle. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. If they find out about Imu, I expect that they'll try to get the word out, but I wouldn't doubt if Imu is planning to destroy Kamabaka right now. Does Imu know? Does Imu know that they got away though? That's the question, John. Because if Imu knows, then Kamabaka's obviously next. And that's gonna be big because Dragon is there too, right? That's gonna be a fight. But I don't think Imu knows. If Imu knew, Sabo and them wouldn't even make it back alive. If Imu knew that they survived. Lelucia is chilling with God Valley and Luffy's mother. Well, while Shiki's holding it all up. I can see Sabo versus Akainu. The island didn't get destroyed. I can see Sabo versus Akainu too. That was like the 3rd video I ever made on this channel, I think, was why Sabo will fight Akainu. And I gave my reasons as to why. But let's talk about Buggy, because Buggy was the highlight of this chapter for sure. And it's interesting to see that he's the most ambitious of Cross Guild, where Mihawk completely lacks any type of ambition, it seems. And Crocodile is just a man of reason. He's too reasonable almost, where he likes that they're getting fame and recognition across the world. He was talking about how they need wealth and power now. But what's the point in acquiring all of these resources and standing toe to toe with the people that are competing at the highest level for the Pirate King status if you're not going to go for it yourself? So Buggy is absolutely right. You may as well go for it. If you're going to be attaining all these tools needed for it anyways, why not dream the biggest? Dream all the way. Dream to the maximum. Go for the ceiling. Reach for the stars, man. Shoot for the sky. Why not? And obviously they don't want like the main thing here would be if they do go for King of the Pirates, which one of these 3 men becomes King of the Pirates? It's kind of like Ace, Sabo, and Luffy. It's 3 egos that are going to be butting heads. So as long as there's no goal that puts one person clearly above the rest, these 3 can coexist. Or I should even say just these 2, because Buggy will suck up to either one any day of the week. He's okay taking a back seat, but Mihawk and Crocodile would never let anyone else be of higher status than themselves within their own organization. So they're not gonna let him be king of the pirates. They're probably thinking, well, if we are gonna go for it, then I'm gonna be king of the pirates. They're each thinking that, and it's interesting to see the different type of emotions that Crocodile and Mihawk get here. So we see here Mihawk is almost pissed. Wealth, power. Why stop there when you can have it all? And Crocodile is already definitely getting pissed. And then here we see Crocodile's concerned. We're not playing pirates here. This is serious business. You don't have a clue, let alone a plan. And Mihawk, even Mihawk is looking kind of concerned. Do you really expect us to just go pick fights with red hair, Blackbeard, and straw hat? And then at the end, when he actually screams it out, it's time to finally go and claim the One Piece. Crocodile is pissed. He's cheesed, man. He's pissed off. And Mihawk is worried. Mihawk looks concerned. Like, damn, why did he just say that? You know what Mihawk looks like? Mihawk looks like the way Mihawk's making that same face the admirals made him in Marineford when Luffy used Conqueror's Haki. Maybe Buggy just used Conqueror's Haki while he screamed out the One Piece, and that's why everyone's so motivated. I'm just kidding, of course. But this now is already giving us the idea that Buggy can become king of the pirates. I like this. And you want to know what's the funniest thing? Buggy is closer to achieving king of the pirates than Kid is. Buggy is closer, significantly closer, to achieving status and the title of king of the pirates than useless Captain Kid is. For one, he's still alive. He's still up. For two, he has a much stronger crew. 3, he has a higher bounty. And the only thing is they have no poneglyphs. And he has a bunch of unambitious. What was that? What was that term the other guy used? I want to use the same term he did. You got a bunch of unambitious 2-bit pirates that aren't even fit to lick his boots working underneath him. And they can't even see. They don't have the same vision as Buggy. They're not on his level. Mihawk is not on Buggy's level. Crocodile is not on Buggy's level. They don't have that vision that he has. They're like Bellamy right now, laughing in the bar. And Buggy's like Luffy, just chilling there, taking those hits. The Lucia's in the sky now or underwater. John Phillips says Buggy-sama is an absolute GOAT, and of course he'd be the man in the crew to go after the One Piece. Of course it'd be him. But I really like the stuff they did with him and Shanks and how they gave us more context on what happened that day. And it does work with the theory that I did too. That of course Shanks wanted to find the One Piece with his own crew when they reached Laugh Tale, but then when they came back and Roger had that talk with him and he cried, that's when he probably decided this. So here he says, but I've changed my mind now but I've changed my mind for now at least. I'm not ready to go for it yet. So now the question is why? Why is he not ready to go for it yet? There are 3 people who can join Cross Guild for me right now. Gecko Moria, Doflamingo, and Boa Hancock. Doflamingo is going to join. Doflamingo to me is like a 99% chance he's going to join. Gecko Moria, it all depends how the story... Because Gecko Moria has more to do with Hachinosu right now. So unless Cross Guild can tie their way into Hachinosu and Blackbeard, I don't know how Gecko Moria is going to fall into that picture. And Boa's not, no. I don't see Boa. But then again, actually, you know what? Boa could really join because her personality would be the perfect 4th personality. Even more so than Doflamingo. Doflamingo, for story purposes, would fit in more. But if we're just talking strictly personalities, Boas would definitely fit the group well. It'd mesh very well. I wonder if we'll see Buggy's awakening in the series. I think we'll see it eventually. The Blackbeard pirates are coming to Egghead, and Caribou, who knows about ancient weapons, is still there. You see where I'm going? Cross Guild stealing copies from Luffy's Poneglyph is crazy. You never know, man. But we have to evaluate. What if Mihawk goes up to Shanks, and he's like, "Yo, I heard you took kids' Poneglyph rubbings," and he's like, "Yeah, I did." And he's like, "One more duel for World's Strongest Swordsman title, or the Poneglyph rubbings." So either Mihawk takes the Poneglyph rubbings or Shanks takes the title. And then next thing we know, Zoro's looking at the newspaper, and it's new World's Strongest Swordsman, Shanks. And that's that. He has to change his goal. And then it goes on that day, in such and such island in the new world, second Yonko commander of Cross Guild, 3.59 whatever it was billion berry bounty Dracula Mihawk was completely eradicated. And then you see that same picture of Shanks that we saw in the end of 1079. Imagine. I wonder. I read that. But we have to evaluate what is Mihawk's status. Does he consider himself to be a pirate first of all? First of all, we have to look at all these things. He's always rolled solo. Does he have ambitions to chase the One Piece? He doesn't. It's very clear what Mihawk isn't interested in. He's interested in very few things. And it's swordsmen that can compete with him, and swordsmen that can potentially pass him. And jokes aside, I think the fact that Shanks gave up on swordsmanship. Like, he's like, I'm not interested in that anymore. I lost an arm, and he started focusing on hockey. And that made Mihawk lose interest because he loves swordsmanship, right? Cross Guild stealing copies from Luffy's Poneglyph. I read that as well. I think Mihawk considers himself a pirate, but not the I want One Piece sense. Yeah, exactly. I agree. But what would betray them because she a simp for Luffy? She would betray them in a heartbeat if it came down to Cross Guild versus the Straw Hats. Taxi or Amaki is about to deliver Weevil to Cross Guild and another big L for Ryukyu. Yeah, they might get Weevil too. If they do break into Impel Down, they might get Weevil, or they might just free Weevil indirectly within all the chaos. But I definitely see them going into Impel Down and breaking out Doflamingo. For sure. He wouldn't be eradicated. Bro, if Shanks becomes the world's strongest swordsman, people will riot. I'd love it. I wouldn't riot. I would love it. And we don't. But here's the thing: it's got to be off screen. Shanks just off screens Mihawk, and then we just see Zoro sitting on the ship one day. He wakes up. The Straw Hats are doing their things. Usopp, Chopper, Luffy are goofing around. Nami's just sitting down, sunbathing or whatever. Robin's reading a book. Sanji's serving them dishes or whatever. Frankie's celebrating, and then Zoro just picks up the newspaper, and it's like, world's strongest swordsman. Shanks eradicates Mihawk in a battle for the swordsmanship title versus Poneglyphs. And that's that. And then Buggy has to go find a new commander. Almighty Lambo, what is up, bro? What is up? We just finished the chapter. We're talking about it a little bit. It's a good chapter, man. I like chapters that cover a lot of different things at once because it makes the pacing. It gives you the illusion that the pacing is really good, but it gives you the illusion that you're reading more than you are, is what I should say. When you get good pacing. Like, last one was even better than this. When you have like 4 or 5 different scenes in one, and I'm not talking about like in Wano where in the final raid where it's just like 2 pages quickly of like what's going on with Nami and Usopp and Ulti, and then another page of like Frank and Sasaki, and then, yeah, you can always do it like that, but then that feels rushed. But if it's like this, where you give everything enough time, like they gave the stuff with Sengoku and Tsuru a good amount of time, and then it was also a smooth segue, very good transition right into the Cross Guild stuff, which felt like an entire chapter on its own, to be honest. I was just so into it that it felt like it went by fast. But now looking back, there was a lot here. And then we cut to the Revolutionary Army, and we get a good amount of this too. Introduced to new characters. So we find out new Revolutionary Army vice captains. We get context on what really happened with Buggy and Shanks in that meeting and why Buggy turned him down. Because last time we saw that was a quick flashback. I think when Shanks was talking to Whitebeard and he said I hadn't seen him since we split that day, and then it cuts to show us that day, and it's just Shanks being like, "Hey, do you want to come join me?" He's just like, "Join you? Never." So it gave us the idea that it was just Buggy, being like dumb and ignorant, not knowing what's best for him. But now we get this is really good character development for Buggy, because now we see the insecurities that even a guy like Buggy has and has always had, where he says, this really hit me, when he said, "When I sailed with Shanks, he shone so brightly with potential. I knew I couldn't measure up, so I let go of my real dream." Like, damn, bro. That's deep. That is deep. I don't know if you guys realize how deep that is. For how long we've known Buggy, to drop something like that. And then it's perfect too, because it's a perfect setup for him to. It sets up that when he finally says this about the One Piece, we're all with him. We feel the same way his crew feels, where when he says it's time for us to finally go and claim the One Piece, you see how his crew are like, woo, and they're celebrating? That's how us readers are supposed to feel, and that's how we do feel. That's how I felt. And then when Mihawk and Crocodile are stepping on his face, telling him to shut up and everything, it's such a good build-up. From the moment where he talks about like his insecurities all the way to when he finally screams it out, it's a perfect build-up. And it makes you love Buggy that much more. All three of Cross Guild are three of my favorite characters in One Piece. And then the stuff with the Revolutionary Army. And then I don't think we're going to see Sabo tell them. I would give it a 10% chance that we see Sabo tell Dragon and Ivankov what he discovered in the Holy Land of Marijoa. And I'd give it a 90% chance that we don't. Let alone if we get it next chapter. Sosa, what's up, Sosa? Do you think the man with the burn scar is on Elbaf? To me, I think Shanks has to be protecting the last poneglyph, but it's still up in the air for real. I think, especially after the last chapter, what Shiryu said too, I definitely think Imu has the last poneglyph. It's suspicious why right now Luffy got Gear 5, Shanks is... It's suspicious why right now Luffy got Gear 5, Shanks decides to get the One Piece. Suspicious in what way though? Because I agree, I would say it's interesting. And I would say it's interesting, and I would say it's not a coincidence. But suspicious is not the word I would use. But I would say it's not a coincidence. You think we're getting Reverie flashback next chapter? If they talk about it, if they let Sabo talk about what he saw, then yeah, I definitely think we're going to get a little bit of a flashback in the Reverie, rather than just hear him say it. But I don't think they're going to tell us, because it's Dragon and Ivankov. They're not that important that we need to see their point of view of them discovering this truth. As long as we know what the truth is, which is Imu, and we know that they're about to know what the truth is, because Sabo's about to tell them, that's it. That's all Oda really needs to get out to us is, hey, look, Dragon is about to find out the truth. You guys know this? Okay, now we can move on. We don't actually need to see Dragon find out the truth. That's more of like when you're an important character, like a main character, like Luffy. The only former warlords completely off limits are Blackbeard and Jinbei, since they're already in a Yonko crew. Everyone else could potentially join, even Kuma for a potential revolutionary Cross Guild alliance. No, Cross Guild and revolutionary could never align. I don't see that. At least that not in my opinion. I don't see that. I have to disagree with you there, John. I have to, because Kuma's on a mission. Kuma's on a strong mission with the Revolutionary Army. Cross Guild don't even have a plan. Like Crocodile just said, they don't have a direct path. Buggy, this clown, a literal clown, is trying to lead them down a path now, because they don't actually have one. They're sitting down here meeting Mihawk and Crocodile, and they don't really know what to do. So in your hypothetical universe, Zoro needs to take down Shanks to become strongest swordsman. Man, I love Zoro, but he ain't beating Shanks. I don't think end of series Zoro is going to be weaker than Shanks. I think Zoro is going to be stronger than Shanks at the end of the series. I think Zoro will definitely, maybe even by like a good gap, be stronger than Shanks and every other swordsman by the end of the series. The Mihawk downplay. I'm just joking. Just in case anyone actually thinks I'm serious, I'm just joking. I just gotta rub it in. As a Shanks stan, I gotta rub it in when you see this kind of stuff with Mihawk. This is a good chapter for a Shanks stan to shit on Mihawk. But Mihawk is my top 5 favorite characters in the whole series. I love Mihawk. When it comes to agenda, right? He just happens to be in an agenda where he rivals Shanks, and I like Shanks better. I like Shanks much better. And it's not even about I like Shanks better. I genuinely just think Shanks is a stronger character, and probably by like a good enough margin. Agenda piece was reaching for straws on Mihawk. Is that true? I gotta see what the Mihawk stans are saying right now. Man, this is one thing I wish, like, whenever I'm late to a chapter, I'm like, I don't get to see the reactions when that chapter first dropped, and that's always so good. Like, I'm gonna be late to it now, but I can only imagine the scrambling for damage control the Mihawk stans were doing and the mental gymnastics. Ringo says if Mihawk wanted the One Piece by himself, he would be a direct rival for Luffy, which creates a conflict between Luffy and Zoro's goal. Well, that's a brilliant point. That's a brilliant point. I don't know how that went above my head, but that's a brilliant point. There was a series before One Piece that Mihawk ancestor who was a fraud, and Ryuma was present in the series as the world's best swordsman. Are you talking about Wanted? There was a series before One Piece where Mihawk ancestor who was a fraud, and Ryuma was present in that series as the world's best swordsman. Cosmos is here. Better late than never, brother. Better late than never. We finished the chapter. It was a great chapter. We're just talking about it now. We covered some stuff already, but we're just talking about whatever. Talking about everything and anything. Glad you could make it, Cosmos. I wonder who will see Imu first. Will it be Dragon, Luffy, Blackbeard, someone else? I think it will be Luffy and Blackbeard at the same time, to be honest. And I think Luffy and Blackbeard are going to team up to beat Imu. I made a video on this. I think I shared it last time, but it's called Why Pangaea Castle is the Key to One Piece. And I think, go watch that video if you guys haven't watched it. I think it's one of the best videos on my channel in terms of where I think the story could go from here. So I would suggest you guys watch it. But where is it? Here it is. Just so you know where I stand on this, basically. So this is where I think they're gonna meet Imu and probably fight Imu. Mihawk versus Shanks fan war has become out of pocket these days. It's been out of pocket for like the past year, bro. Ever since the break, it's been out of pocket. Low-key worse than Zoro versus Sanji. Okay, yeah. You know what? You're right. It's always been out of pocket, but Zoro versus Sanji has always been more toxic than Shanks versus Mihawk up until recently. I would say the last 6 months or so. I would say Shanks versus Mihawk is easily the most toxic agenda right now. Since we're speaking about end of series Zoro, do you think he will have stage 2 advanced Haki in all Haki like described in your recent video? Yes, Monair, I do. And I don't think he will have stage 2 of advanced Conqueror's Haki, because I think that's where it's going to be. Because at the end of the day, as much as I love Zoro, and as much as I know he's going to need to be really strong and keep up with Luffy, and I always say like he's closer to Luffy than to Sanji in most cases. Not right now with Gear 5, but most of the time throughout the story. Even I know, even now that he's achieved Advanced Conqueror's Haki, and I was one of the guys that was saying he was gonna get it for sure. Even I know that by the end of the series, there's gonna have to be an entirely different level that Luffy has to reach that Zoro can't reach, because Luffy has to be above him to an extent. And I think Zoro will have the advanced observation where he'll be able to see like what Shanks saw in 1079. And this is a lot of headcanon, so I don't want to talk too much about it because then I'm gonna start talking about my head canon like it's reality. But I think he will get the stage 2 advanced observation, and I think he will get the maximum stage of armament, because obviously he's gonna need to forge a black blade. So if what I said in that video is true about black blades and how you get it, I think he's not just gonna reach that level, but surpass that level to a different level altogether. Because again, Sanji is the observation guy, Zoro's the armament guy, Luffy's the conquerors guy. So I think Zoro end of series might have better armament haki than Luffy in all seriousness. If armament haki is really tied to forging a Blackbeard, then no doubt he has to have the best armament haki probably in the series. But I think Luffy will reach that final stage of advanced conquerors that Zoro won't even get to, because Zoro doesn't really need it like that. But that's a good question, Monair. That's a very good question. Admiral stands are worse. Reddit has been completely legendary ever since Wednesday. I gotta take a peek in Reddit. We are staying on this boat till mediocre departure ends your career. Is that gonna be a thing now? Mediocre departure? I said as a joke, but maybe it's not a joke. Shanks divine departure. Mihawk's gonna come in with mediocre departure. He's gonna come in with mediocre departure, and he's gonna clash with someone strong, and they're gonna leave a little crack in the ceiling of whatever building they're fighting in. There's gonna be a crack right down the middle of the ceiling, and they're gonna split the ceiling kind of in half. But it's not gonna break. It's just gonna be a little bit of crack just halfway through the ceiling. So they split it. If we actually see Mihawk Shanks fight, the community is in flames. They won't fight. Oda loves marketing that. He won't make them fight. He knows how much of a talking point it is. Zoro bigger than Luffy at any point is crazy, to be honest. I've actually seen some people say Zoro was stronger than Luffy pre-Gears or on the rooftop. Bro, you don't want to know my opinion then, John. You don't want to know my opinion. You don't want, if I get into this, you guys are going to unsub from this channel. You guys are going to think I'm the craziest, worst scaler on the planet. Okay, you know what? Let's get into it. Because a lot of it, too, is context, and it's portrayal, and it's narrative. Like, you have to understand that Luffy is the main character, so he's going to shine brighter than Zoro. But you always have to remember the first meeting between Luffy and Zoro and what the dynamic was between them. That was completely separate from any other Straw Hat. No other Straw Hat had that kind of dynamic. Luffy knew who Zoro was before arriving on the island. He's, again, the only Straw Hat. The only Straw Hat Luffy set out to make a member of his crew. The only Straw Hat that Luffy spoke to as direct equals. They were equals. Unless you mentioned Jinbei. But even then, I would say Jinbei was superior at that time. But an equal. Not just in strength, but like the whole dynamic between them at that point. And then Zoro literally had to like take a step back to become Luffy's word. It was like, if it was anyone else, I would not be their captain. Anyone else that was as strong as you, that was like you or whatever, at least in terms of strength, I will not be their captain. But because it's you, and there's something different about you and unique about you, I'm willing to step back, to swallow my pride and my ego and take that step back and become vice captain. And he even says, he's like, gosh, it's been so long, but he says something like, if it ever comes to the point, this is the first time they meet. He's like, if it ever comes to the point where I have to pick between you and my dreams or something, I'll kill you, or something like that. And then obviously over the years, it gets to the point where he's bowing down in front of Mihawk, saying, being Luffy's subordinate is more important to me now. Helping Luffy achieve his dream is more important to me than achieving my own dream. So keep that in mind when you think of Zoro's character. Just keep that in mind. John Phillips says, oh no, get into it, nature. Okay, comparable is one thing, but no. Comparable is one thing, but stronger is another. Okay, hear me out. Because I definitely think there were times in the series where Zoro was stronger than Luffy. Stronger. And then I think there were times that they were equal, and I think there were times that Luffy was stronger, of course. So, obviously, I think a lot of people will agree they started off equal. Or I think a lot of people actually say Luffy was stronger. I think they started off equal. And then we also see how they're like them two are separate from everyone else in a regard, even Sanji, because Luffy and Zoro understood each other on a level that others couldn't. Like, for example, the stuff with Kobe when he made Kobe punch him. Zoro fully understood that. The stuff with Bellamy, where Nami was like, "What's going on?" and Zoro understood what was going on with Luffy. Even if you go to Baratie, when Mihawk gave Zoro that final slash and he's falling in the water, Sanji of all people, Sanji even says, "You idiot, you should have gave up your dream when it came down to your dream or your life." Luffy would never say that. Luffy would look at Zoro and understand exactly why he did what he did. Sanji didn't understand it. Now he would, because he's had a lot of character development since. But it took time for him to reach that, to get on that mental level that Luffy and Zoro were always on. So, in terms of portrayal, because I always want to start with portrayal, it is very clear that these two are seen on a different level than everyone else. Prior to Monster Trio, prior to everything else, it's Luffy and Zoro here, everyone else here. Not to mention the stuff we all know in Whiskey Peak, and I think that just goes to show more that they were equal at that time. So, all the way up to Whiskey Peak, I think they were equal. When we get to Alabasta, and Luffy doesn't really learn anything to beat Crocodile. He just comes back and comes back and comes back with his resilience, right? And a lot of it, straight up, if we're being honest, was Crocodile being incompetent. Why did he just drop Luffy in the sand and leave so that Nico Robin could save him? Why didn't he kill Luffy right then and there and make sure Luffy was dead? He didn't, right? Because this is plot. And this is where I say, keep in mind, Luffy is the main character. He has to shine brighter. So remember the portrayal and remember Luffy's the main character. He has to shine brighter. Okay, so in Alabasta, Zoro fights Mr. One. Zoro learns the breath of all things, which is something that a lot of people learn post time skip. It is incredibly impressive that he learned all the way back in Alabasta. And that directly tied into his skill of swordsmanship and what makes him strong. So for Zoro, that was a huge boost in strength. Luffy didn't get a boost in strength. He just kept coming back because Crocodile didn't put him down. Mr. One wasn't playing no games with Zoro. It was do or die. It was, you're going to die here or you're going to be forced to beat me in one go. He beat him. So, in my opinion, at the end of Alabasta, Zoro was a little bit stronger. We get into Skypiea. Luffy fights Enel. Again, he doesn't get any power-ups. He just gets luck. He gets luck in the fact that he's rubber and he is a direct counter to Enel. Even when Enel's using mantra, Luffy doesn't even use skill. He doesn't use battle IQ. He just shuts off his brain. And he is able to counter the mantra. So again, I think Zoro is slightly stronger here. And the reason I also say slightly stronger, I mean if they fought, Zoro would win. Because also, Luffy's weaknesses are slashes. But now we get into Water 7 Enies Lobby. And when we get into Water 7 Enies Lobby, and we get into the gears, I don't think there's a conversation there. I don't. I think that's the point where Sanji and Zoro is a conversation and Luffy's clear. Just like after, there are 2 points in the series where Luffy just cleared Zoro. So far that it was like Zoro and Sanji was more of a conversation than Luffy and Zoro. And I think Gear 5 obviously being one, and his original power-ups, his original Gear 2 and Gear 3 power-ups. So after Enies Lobby, no one can say Zoro was equal to Luffy. Even I can't. You can't. Because Luffy had the hardest fight of his life. And with Gear 2 and Gear 3, I think he was a lot stronger. Even with Ashura. Even taking Ashura into account, Luffy was clear. Then we continue, and I think Luffy was stronger, definitely stronger, all the way up to the time skip. Because he went through hell while Zoro was chilling, right? Marineford, Impel Down, all that stuff. No other Straw Hat was going through that. Just Luffy. So Luffy went into the time skip clear of Zoro. But then Zoro trained with Mihawk. And I think in terms of maximizing the potential of how much he can learn in 2 years, I don't want to say Mihawk was a better trainer, because Rayleigh was a better trainer, but I think Mihawk was perfectly suited for Zoro as a trainer, whereas Rayleigh was just a great teacher and he taught Luffy. But he wasn't a perfect fit. He's just a great teacher. He taught him everything about hockey. Zoro had the perfect fit. So I think Zoro maximized the training with Mihawk more than Luffy did with Rayleigh. And when they came back from the time skip, the confidence that Zoro was oozing to the point where Luffy knocked out 50,000 fishermen, and he's like, that's the least I expect from my captain, otherwise I step forward. The fact that he one-shots the main villain, he one-shots a fisherman underwater who is the main villain that Luffy's going to have the final fight with in that arc. And I know he takes a bunch of more of those pills when he fights Luffy. I get it. But again, it's portrayal. It's portrayal. It's not just feats. It's portrayal. And what is... The number one question that always comes to my mind when I'm reading One Piece is, what is Oda trying to imply here? Why did Oda go out of his way to give us a scene in the first arc, fresh out of the time skip, that shows us Zoro in the most disadvantageous circumstance as possible against the main villain that Luffy is going to fight later on, and he one-shots him? Oda does stuff like that for a reason, right? And because of this, I think off the time skip, Zoro was stronger. I think Zoro was stronger than Luffy without a doubt coming out of the time skip all the way until Gear 4. Maybe even, no, yeah, all the way until Gear 4. So I think in Dressrosa, all of Dressrosa, if you ask me, Zoro was stronger. Even like when Doflamingo is shooting Law and Zoro runs up to save him and Fujitora has to get in the way. And I know it's not to say that he's stronger than Doflamingo, but why is Oda always protecting Zoro to such strong extents? We didn't see Zoro's eye. We still haven't. We haven't seen Zoro go all out all the way until King and Kaido. No one else, Monet, Pika, no one was able to make Zoro really push himself. And then when he actually goes after a strong guy like Doflamingo, an Admiral comes and stops him and then sends him hundreds of feet down, and what happens? He sends a long range slash, and Fujitora backs up and compliments him. So Oda is implying here, do not underestimate Zoro just because of his position, because we've seen many times, many of the Supernova have even said, and many people have said, that guy can be a captain in his own right. What's he doing under a guy like Luffy? He could be a captain himself. He's a Supernova. So you have to take the implications into account. So I think he was stronger than Luffy and Law. Whenever people bring up Law, I'm just like, he was definitely stronger than Law. Law is getting destroyed by Doflamingo, and Fujitora is having to stop Zoro from reaching Doflamingo. Come on. But when it came to what was after that, okay, Zoark, Whole Cake Island, when Luffy got Future Sight, up until now, Luffy has been stronger than Zoro. So from Future Sight up until today, Luffy has been stronger than Zoro. Even the rooftop. The thing about the rooftop is that every time Zoro was impressive or was able to get a power up to just catch up to Luffy, Luffy cleared him again by a little bit. So Luffy entered Wano with Future Sight, and Zoro did not have that. So he was already stronger in my opinion, because that was a huge, at that time, that was crucial to your strength and how important of a boost that is to your overall power. And then Luffy goes and learns Eternal Destruction, while Zoro hasn't learned anything different now. Zoro received Enma, sure, okay, that's a power up, but I think Eternal Destruction is more valuable. They get to the roof. I think every One Piece fan can admit that from the start of the roof, Luffy is stronger. He used Red Rock. Like, everyone behind him, the 4 men behind him, knows he's the king when he hit that Red Rock. They all knew it, because they didn't, some of them, like Kid, didn't even know what it was, and then the others, like Law and Zoro, knew what it was but didn't have it and knew that they didn't attain it just yet. But this is where it goes like this. This is Zoro and this is Luffy and this is Roof Piece. Boom, 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 over and over and over again. Right when Zoro finally gets, he unlocks a little bit of Advanced Conqueror's. And it's funny because he uses it before Luffy. He uses Advanced Conqueror's Haki, but he doesn't know what it is. And he barely is able to understand it. He doesn't understand it, and he's barely able to use it. He uses it one time. He doesn't even know what happened, and he falls down. And then right when you're like, whoa, well, we haven't seen Luffy use Conqueror's Haki on an attack yet. Right before you can even process that thought, Luffy gets up, clearly acknowledges exactly what the move is and how to use it, and he verbalizes it, and then he goes on to use it like he's mastered and he's been using it for years. So Zoro couldn't keep up. And then right when Zoro's fighting King, he gets to the point where it's like, okay, it seems like Zoro's got a good grasp on Advanced Conqueror's Haki now. And not only that, but also Advanced Armament Haki and Internal Destruction. Can we have that conversation? And then what happened then? Gear 5. Boom. So beginning of the series equal. Alabasta, Zoro takes the lead. Enies Lobby, Luffy clears. When I say clear, I mean clear. Luffy clears. Luffy goes into the time skip significantly stronger. Zoro comes out of the time skip stronger. Zoro remains stronger through Fisherman Island, through Punk Hazard, and through Dressrosa up until Gear 4. Luffy remains stronger up until Gear 4. Yeah, up until Gear 4. I would say, you know what? If I'm being honest, I'm going to get so much hate for this. Gear 4 made them equal, in my opinion, when Luffy got Gear 4. Because whatever Luffy did to Doflamingo, I think Zoro could do that bare minimum, if not better. And that's why he was protected from fighting Doflamingo, or from even having a serious fight and showing struggle. When Luffy uses Future Sight, Luffy takes over and is clear until now. That's how I see it. So that was a long rant, but I hope that at least gave you guys somewhat of a quick rundown of what I think between Zoro and Luffy and their dynamic and why I think so. Please don't understand that Luffy having Zoro is literally Shanks having Mihawk on his crew. I think they were comparable. East Blue Water 7, pre-gears, and on the rooftop. Where do you think Zoro was stronger? Like I said, John, I think Zoro was stronger when he attained... Bro, the man got friggin' breath of all things fighting Mr. One in one of the closest battles to date in the series, all the way back in Alabasta, where Luffy was barely beating Crocodile and was just coming back. And he's like, okay, this time I'm going to come back with water. Like, what skill sets was Luffy really learning in Alabasta and Skypiea? And prior to Haki, the advantage that Zoro would have of being a swordsman and that being Luffy's weakness to rubber was always huge. So prior to Haki, that mattered big time. Incompetent isn't the word I'd use for Crocodile and Alabasta, with the exception. Yeah, he wasn't incompetent. He was a typical villain written the way villains are written. They're always going to give... It's Luffy being the main character. That's why I say keep in mind Luffy's the main character. He's always going to have these moments. So if anyone uses like Luffy beat Crocodile, could Zoro do that as an excuse to why he's stronger? To me, that's flawed logic, personally. Luffy had to level up to beat Crocodile. Come on, we know. Level up how? Like, how exactly did he level up Cosmos? So from end of Alabasta up until Enies Lobby, Gears, you have Zoro bigger than Luffy. Yes, John. From the end of Alabasta all the way to the Gears, I have Zoro over Luffy. I do. When Luffy fought Usopp, I think Zoro was stronger than Luffy. Opinions of Zoro and Luffy is the exact same as mine so far. That's good, bro. Shusui made Zoro comparable to Gear 4 Luffy pre-time skip. Gear 2 Luffy. How did Shusui make him comparable to Gear 2? I think you know what? Shusui was a strong power-up. But at that point, Luffy was pretty comfortable with his gears and how to use them. And at that point, he had Nightmare Luffy for a bit too, right? But I think it's hard, man, because they both have their different aspects too. Like, I think Zoro has always been physically stronger than Luffy and has had better endurance than Luffy. But I think Luffy has always been much more durable, much more faster than Zoro, much faster than Zoro. So like they both have their strengths and their weaknesses. And obviously this goes without saying, but I think Sanji was always weaker than both of them. I don't think there's a time Sanji was ever equal to either one. And that's not a knock on Sanji. Sanji's character didn't have that dynamic that those two characters had. It never did. He was more comparable. The way he joined the crew is more comparable to everyone else. He couldn't understand why Zoro was going to die for his dream. He's a chef. He's not a combatant. His main goal has nothing to do with combat. So he's always going to be strong. He's going to be a part of the monster trio. But I feel like some people force him in places that he has no business being. There's a reason he's not a supernova. There's a very good reason to that. And it's okay because Sanji is easily the best character of the three. And Zoro is easily the worst character of the three. from a character writing standpoint, it's very clearly, in my opinion, Sanji, Luffy, Zoro, at least to me. So it's okay. Sanji has a lot of other things he brings to the table. I still think Luffy was clear even after Shusi, but it didn't close the gap. I agree with that, Almighty. Yeah, so Almighty Lambo agrees with me a lot. I agree. Like Shusi didn't really. Luffy was still clear. Luffy, like the gears really. I don't know what it was, but gear 2 and 3, and how and because he had such a good fight with Lucci, the same way Zoro did with Mr. One. That when you have fights like that, you come out way stronger than you were. And I think Zoro. I think the chapter that ended pre-time skip, the chapter where the time skip was done, Zoro was still not as strong as any Lobby Luffy that fought Lucci with the gears. I don't think he was. I agree that Zoro is bigger than Gear 2 and 3 Luffy on Dressrosa, yeah. You're basing that on Hody Jones. He hadn't eaten the energy pills when... I know he hadn't. When Zoro no-diffed him. And on energy pills, doubles the strength. Pika is definitely weaker than Doflamingo, bro. Come on. Yes, but why was Zoro not struggling at all with these guys? You can't prove these things. You can't prove what I'm saying is correct. That's why I look at the implication. One thing you can prove is that Oda was protecting Zoro's image all the way up until Roof Piece. And then you ask yourself, why was he protecting his image? Why did he one-shot Hody Jones? It's not about the circumstances of him one-shotting Hody Jones. It's why did Oda sit down and say, I want Zoro to one-shot the main villain of this arc? Like, do you guys see what I'm saying? Don't focus so much on the details of it, right? The semantics of it. And just ask, like, why did he want Zoro to one-shot Hody Jones? In whatever form it is. Wherever, however, why did he want that to take place? Why did he want Zoro to say that if Luffy couldn't do that and knock out 50,000 fishmen bare minimum, I would have to step up and be captain? Why did he want an admiral to stop him from attacking Doflamingo and then go on and compliment him? Why did he want him to not struggle with any of the people that he fought? Why did he want Supernova to constantly mention that Zoro could be a captain in his own right? That's how I see it. And Ashura was comparable to Gear 3 against the Pacifista, while Sanji almost broke his leg with Diablo Jump. Gear 3 after the against the Pacifista, while Sanji almost broke his leg with Diablo Jumbo. Sanji did break his leg too, didn't he? With Virgo and Punk Hazard. I like that Oda didn't only have the main cast grow in strength. People were mad about Law, but I liked it. Luffy's Udon power-up is bigger than Zoro getting Enma and not knowing how to use it fully. 100% agreed, Sosa, and I said that. I said that as well. Like, these are the skills that matter. Internal destruction, the breath of all things, Rio. A sword is a power-up, but you got to learn how to use it, right? But the good thing about Enma, it's not that Enma was a power-up, it's that Enma forced power-ups to come out of Zoro. Advanced Conqueror's Haki. His fight with King. Enma was so crucial to his fight with King because it forced... Had he not had Enma, he would not have Advanced Conqueror's Haki. Or he would not have mastered it. Because Enma drained him so much, he needed to really dig into that level of Haki that was needed. That Wado was not going to do. Wado Ichimonji was not going to do that. Nidai or Sandai, which one is it? Sandai Kitetsu was not going to do that either. Random question, but did you create ZKK? I did not create ZKK. I think, didn't Rogers Base create ZKK? I remember the first time I heard Rogers Base. That was the first time I heard it, at least. He made a video talking about it. And I was like, yo, that makes a lot of sense. And then, if you guys remember Anime Fan Talk, he made a video just like how the hell are people buying into this? It was good times those days on YouTube, man. But ZKK, I did believe in ZKK, but I don't care that ZKK didn't happen. It's just I wish we had more of Zoro. I don't care if it was Kaido or not. Like it was wishful thinking from the beginning, but could we at least have seen more from Zoro and like his backstory, his lineage in Wano, rather than just make it a completely a normal arc for Zoro? ZKK started here. No, I don't think so. ZKK from somewhere on Reddit. Spread like disease. Reddit was going wild with them ZKK series. Theories. You just gave the most convincing Mihawk is bigger than Shanks argument, Nature Boy. How? How? Explain, Cosmos. Explain right now. I'm going to have to make a video on Shanks and Mihawk and dive into that. Ringo, good breakdown. Thank you. I don't think Zoro is equal to Gear 4, but I'll let it slide. Zoro learned how to... Wait. Zoro now or Zoro back when Gear 4 was revealed? Zoro now one shot to Gear 4. Like that Gear 4, not Gear 4 now. Because Gear 4 now still has advanced Haki, right? Zoro learned how to throw slashes in Skypiea. Yes, he did. Not against Wiper, against the other dude. I don't remember his name. The main thing for Gear 4, I think, is the time limit. It's incredibly powerful, but it doesn't last very long. So even if Gear 4 is bigger than Zoro, the time limit makes Luffy and Zoro closer overall. That is true. And as far as we know, at that time, Zoro did not have a time limit with Armament Haki. Right now, the issue is they both have major time limits. Luffy has a strong time limit on Gear 5. And Zoro has an even worse time limit on his Advanced Conqueror's Haki. That absolutely drains the life out of him. So they both need to upgrade in that sense. This ninja spin. At least that's how I see it, guys. That's how I've always seen it. I think what you're talking about with Zoro and Hody is rhetorical analysis. Looking outside of just the story versus critical analysis. Only looking at the story. That's a good way to put it. But that's how my brain works. Like I said, the first thing that I always think of is, why is Oda doing this? Why is Oda doing that? Why did Oda choose to show us this? Chapter 1058. Why did Oda decide to say Mihawk is what is it? With greater sword skill than even Red Hair himself. Why did he word it like that? Why did Oda decide to say about Kaido, he is said to be the world's strongest swordsman? Why didn't he just say the world's strongest creature? Why didn't he just say the strongest creature like Whitebeard and Mihawk? That's how I see everything. Why did Oda not show us Shanks stopping Kaido? Could it be because Shanks is so strong he needs to be saved until the end? Like whatever he did there, we're not going to know those abilities until after on. Why does Oda hold back Haki users all of pre-time skip and show us Devil Fruit users? When I'm talking about like top tiers, right? Like I said in my last video, why did we see Whitebeard pre-time skip go all out? The Admirals pre-time skip go all out. Blackbeard. And then coming off now, we see Big Mom and Kaido. But guys like Rayleigh, guys like Garp, guys like Shanks, guys like Mihawk, the guys that would rely on Haki, why didn't we see them fight even to now? Could it be because Haki is so important and there's so much more that we haven't seen about Haki that if he showed us then we would have seen? He didn't want us to see it yet. Because to me, the gap between Luffy and Zoro is the same gap as Mihawk and Shanks. Shanks being Luffy's goal and Mihawk being Zoro's goal. But Shanks and Mihawk are portrayed as neck and neck. Zoro and Luffy, I think, are more portrayed like... You know what? That's kind of fair. It's different. It's different relation. It's not necessarily about the gap between them. It's just the different relationships. Zoro does not one-shot Gear 4 versus Katakuri. Not only does Luffy have Future Sight, at the point he is extremely fast and powerful, whereas Zoro... No, I'm talking about when Luffy the first time Luffy ever uttered the words Gear 4. Zoro one-shots that guy. Hell, Zoro one-shots Doflamingo, who was much stronger than Gear 4 Luffy. Luffy left Dressrosa significantly weaker than Doflamingo. It took so much and so many people and so many circumstances to beat Doflamingo. And Zoro basically, when he unlocked his advanced conquerors, practically one-shotted King, who's way stronger than It's not even about strength. King was way more durable than Doflamingo. So even if someone's crazy out there and thinks Doflamingo is equal to King, well, he's not even close in durability. So Zoro one-shots that Doflamingo. And I think he one-shots Gear 4 Luffy too in Dressrosa. That's why Mihawk is bigger than Shanks, because Luffy and Zoro final matchup are Teach and Mihawk. Huh? That's why Mihawk is bigger than Shanks, because Luffy and Zoro's final matchups are Shanks and Mihawk. Are Teach and Mihawk. Did you mean to say Shanks and Mihawk? I'm mute on Mihawk versus Shanks until we get 100% solid confirmation on who's stronger. I think Oda's intentionally making us think on it. Oda is intentionally leaving that door open for conversation, but at the same time, he's very clearly, if you look at the hints, he's very clearly showing us that Shanks is stronger than everyone. Shanks is stronger than everyone. Aside from like Emu, he's clear. Like the portrayal that Shanks gets is next to no one else. It's unseen. It's unheard of. Where do you have Doflamingo compared to Commanders? Let's get into it. Let's bring up this conversation. Okay, so obviously remove all first Commanders because they all destroyed Doflamingo. Second Commanders, and it's funny because a lot of people will look at the scene in Dressrosa where he got the better of Jozu and think that Doflamingo is stronger than Jozu, which is one of the craziest things I've ever heard in my opinion. It's like, bro, first of all, Jozu was focusing on Crocodile, and he caught him off guard. And he caught him off guard with an ability that Jozu needs time to understand. Jozu didn't seem worried. He didn't seem like, first of all, he didn't hurt Jozu. He didn't make Jozu sweat. He didn't make Jozu worried. He just caught him off guard for a second and held him, and Jozu's like, what's going on? Like, what is this? What is this thing that you just used on me? If it really came down to it, Jozu is mid-diffing Doflamingo. 100%. They're not even on the same level. And in my opinion, Jozu is the strongest second commander. Remove Shanks' crew, because I think Shanks has all of the strongest commanders. I think every commander on Shanks' crew is first Yonko commander level, bare minimum. But that's I don't want to get into that right now, because I know how crazy that sounds. But Jozu definitely mid-diffs Doflamingo. Queen, with Queen's durability, I would say Queen mid-diffs Doflamingo as well. If not mid-diff, high diff. I don't want to downplay Doflamingo. The man's got Awakening. He's got Devil Fruit, Awakening, and Conqueror's Haki. Maybe Extreme Diff. You know what? Doflamingo is pretty damn versatile, though. He's extremely versatile. Anyways, Queen beats Doflamingo, whether it's Extreme Diff or High Diff. Jozu beats Doflamingo. Smoothie's fodder. Am I missing anyone else? Shiryu is the only commander on Blackbeard's crew that I'm willing to scale. No one else I'm willing to scale because we don't know anything. So in terms of second commanders and first commanders, I think they all beat Doflamingo. In terms of third commanders, I think Doflamingo beats Jack, but loses to Cracker. I think he's right down the middle. I think Cracker wins on a lot of things because of his ability. And again, when it comes to One Piece, it's ability versus ability. It's not just who's stronger. Like, if you were asking me who's stronger, Jack is probably the strongest of the three. But when you take in abilities, Jack doesn't really have a good ability. All it does is it really boosts his durability. That's it. And we know he has crazy endurance because of when he visited Zou and he fought the Duke and he fought Inuyasha and Nekomamushi back to back, day and night. So we know he has crazy durability, crazy endurance. Okay, but look at what Doflamingo can do with his strings. He can manipulate people. You know what? If Doflamingo fights Cracker and Cracker summons all these biscuit soldiers, if Doflamingo is able to control them, that'd be crazy. But I don't want to make it a 1v1. Just who's stronger overall. I would say Cracker is stronger than Doflamingo. And Doflamingo is stronger than Jack. And I forgot about Katakuri obviously beats Doflamingo. And then who am I missing? Who's the other third commander that I'm missing then? Oh, Vista. Because I would put Vista as Whitebeard's third strongest crew member. And I would say Vista beats Dofi. Does he? He clashed with Mihawk. But then again, so did Crocodile. I'll give it to Dofi. So I'd put Dofi above Jack and Vista. And that's about it. Everyone else, Cracker is above him. And then every second commander and every first commander is above him. That's what I would say. And then I would put Lucky Roo, Yasab at first commander level with guys like Marco and Katakuri and King. And then I would put the rest of Shanks' commanders probably at like the level of like a second commander. Because they're going to have to fight. And we're power creeping like crazy already. And they're all going to have to fight later on. So you guys might think that's crazy now. Don't think Mihawk could one-shot Kid like Shanks did? Coming from a Kid stand, don't worry, my boy will be back. If Mihawk used Mediocre Departure on Kid, I don't think Kid would be dead. I think Mihawk would need to use a lot of skill to beat Kid, not Advanced Conquerors Haki. Okay, I'm messing around a bit too much, but realistically, Mihawk would absolutely 100,000% without a shadow of a doubt one-shot Kid, because he's a swordsman too, just like Shanks. I'm willing to bet he has Advanced Conquerors Haki because he's obviously Haki reliant since he does not have a Devil Fruit. And Shanks, most of the reason Shanks was able to do what he did was because of Haki. It seemed like his Advanced Conquerors Haki significantly improved his attack potency, and I think Mihawk would be able to do the same thing. So I think, and then Mihawk would have the stronger sword, having the best sword to ever exist. So yes, I think Mihawk definitely. The only question would be, would Mihawk, two things actually, would Mihawk see what Kid was about to do the same way Shanks saw it, and would Mihawk be able to blitz and come in as fast as Shanks did? Because I don't think anybody is as fast as Shanks. I don't even think Kizaru or Sanji or anyone comes close to Shanks in speed. But if we take away the exact circumstances of Shanks just jumping in like that, I think Mihawk one-shots Kid, yes, for sure. Queen equals Dressrosa, Law, and Jinbei. Dressrosa, Law, and Jinbei are not even on the same level. Jinbei is stronger than Dressrosa Law. And Jinbei is stronger than Queen. Shanks having all the strongest commanders is very exciting. I'm ready for Yasab. And I also think Yasab is stronger than Lucky Roo. I don't know why everyone thinks Lucky Roo is the second commander, just because it's been revealed that he's a combatant. I've always thought Yasab was the second commander for many reasons. For one, he's more important. He's Yasab. He's Usopp's father. I wouldn't think he'd be the third. Number two, he's the first guy Shanks ever recruited. Even before Ben Beckman. We saw the thing where Shanks comes in with the ship all alone by himself, the little boat, and he comes onto the island. He's like, I'm looking for Yasab. Which is another thing. He was specifically looking for Yasab. Yasab, okay, what's a more appealing title? The combatant or the sniper? And arguably, and most likely being the best sniper in the world. Yasab. And then, I know it's anime, and I don't think the manga, I don't remember what the manga showed, but if you guys remember the scene of the funeral of Whitebeard and Ace, when Shanks visited their funeral, and he was walking back to his ship, and he was thinking about Luffy, he was talking about like how even Roger cried or lost at times, and it's like it takes a man to cry. When he walks onto the ship, his three commanders are lined up with him, and then when he walks on, Ben Beckman goes behind him, and then Yasab goes behind Ben Beckman, and then Lucky Roo goes behind Yasab. I know. That's almost like the height argument for Shanks and Mihawk, but these are just reasons why I've always thought Yasab was stronger than Lucky Roo. Shanks is bigger than Luffy, Beckman is bigger than Zoro, Roo and Yasab are bigger than Sanji and Jinbei. No, I think Yasab and Roo are Yonko Commander 1 and Yonko Commander 1 plus 2. 100%. I feel like each commander in the Red Hat Pirates is just a step above the other crews. Like, exactly, yeah. I think they overlap. So, like, Shanks' third Yonko Commander is like at the level of others' first Yonko Commander. And then Shanks' second Yonko Commander is at the level of like Yonko Commander 1 pluses. And then Shanks' actual first Yonko Commander, Ben Beckman, is Admiral level, in my opinion. Stronger than some Admirals. So like they overlap big time when you compare them to other commanders. Pre-Wano warlords are much smaller than commanders. Post-Wano commanders are smaller than warlords. Yeah. That's why I scaled Crocodile so high even before he came back into the story, because portrayal is everything, man. That's actually the next video I'm trying to make, is why narrative is so important in power scaling. It is power scaling, in my opinion. It is. You have to take that. When Crocodile said he was going to come back prepared and much stronger, you have to scale him according to that. especially the longer it takes to introduce him, and it took a very long time. So his 1.9 billion berry bounty wasn't surprising. Mihawk got no friends. I don't know what kid could do to get him that angry. Tell him that he's weaker than Shanks. Then the insecurity comes out in Mihawk. When you tell him he's weaker than Shanks, the insecurity comes out. That's it. He's going to one-shot you. But yeah, Mihawk one-tapping my boy Kid easily. I mean, even Kiros took off Dofi's head, but Dofi literally put himself back together. That was a clone, though. That was a string clone. It's a fair assessment that Zoro could have cut him, but to what end? Dofi literally unfroze himself versus Aokiji. Look, I want to make one thing clear. I'm not saying Zoro was even close to being on the level of Dofi. I'm just saying whatever Law and Luffy did, he could do. Dofi was stronger than all three of them at that point in time. Significantly stronger. I'm just saying that whatever Luffy and Law did versus Doflamingo, Zoro could have done. But it's not his role as a character to do that. The same exact way, whatever Law and Kid could have done against Big Mom, Zoro could have easily done. How do I know this? Because on the roof, he outshone them both. But it's not... Why would Oda go like, okay, let me take two captains that are supernovas, that are rivals to Luffy, and put them up against commanders. And then let me take two commanders and put them up against a captain, 2v1, just for the sake of agenda and for the sake of power scaling. That makes no sense. So Zoro could be twice as strong as Kid and Law, and he would still fight King, because it's his job. It's literally his job to fight King. His boss is fighting another boss, then you, as your boss's right-hand man, need to go and fight his right-hand man. It's not your job to go fight another boss somewhere else. No, that's not his job. So like things like that matter. Devil Fruit Awakening conquers Haki versus Zoro with sword Haki. Still picking Dofi personally. No, Dofi in Dressrosa versus Zoro is not. It's not a debate. It's Dofi. It's Dofi. The only guys that are whooping Dofi in Dressrosa are Sabo and Fujitora, and they're both like destroying him. Now that you say it, Shanks really did recruit Yasopp first. Doesn't fit the parallel to Roger and Luffy. Yeah, it doesn't fit the parallel because Ben Beckman is his right hand. It's very interesting, Almighty Lamb, but when you think about it, I want to get more context on that. Lucky Roo second, Yasopp third, in my opinion. I don't know why we assume this. It just feels evident. To each their own, I guess. Most people think that. I just think Yasopp is a second. We've gotten more from Yasopp. Beckman's hype is genuinely insane. I don't understand how people have Kizaru mid-diffing him. Anyone who has Kizaru mid-diffing Ben Beckman is just doing that out of spite. Maybe I'm forgetting something. It's been a while. Oda explained why he retconned Crocoboy's strength, but people are forever going to hold on to Alabasta. It makes no sense, man. It's like, if you're going to hold on to Alabasta, you better hold on to Mihawk at Marine Ford. You better hold on to, I don't know, like Shanks and the Sea King. There's so many instances like that. And you have to understand, like, at some point, the story just takes over. It's for the sake of the story. But at the same time, it's like, this guy fought Whitebeard. And Whitebeard at least recognizes him and knows his name and earned his respect to a sense. So, this was prior to fighting Luffy. So if this man already fought Whitebeard and Whitebeard knows who he is, he has to be at a very strong level. He has to be. I just don't understand why Oda would gaslight us for a whole saga about commanders, but he did. That's just the story progressing, right? It's like commanders were supposed to be above warlords, but it's like, okay, we use all the commanders now because we were in the Yonko saga. So now that we finished the Yonko saga, all the Yonko commanders are irrelevant. But since Oda was able to use some warlords pre-Yonko saga, but he still has some remaining post-Yonko saga, he now needs to find a way to make it make sense that the same Yonko that he used the commanders to hype up as being much stronger than them, these remaining warlords, now that the Yonko saga is complete, need to be above the Yonko commanders. And I think he did it brilliantly because he saved Boa this whole time, and we all said, everyone that was on the Boa wagon, we said Boa was going to be strong. And then Crocodile, again, just go back to everything we've seen about Crocodile. Go back to his portrayal at Marine Ford, because that is the most accurate understanding of Crocodile's strength that you can get. And I'm not talking about feats. I'm talking about the respect that other people showed him at Marineford that they wouldn't even show Luffy. Guys like Akainu, guys like Sengoku, guys like Mihawk, guys like Whitebeard, guys like Doflamingo. Look at the respect that they showed Crocodile. It doesn't add up to what happened at Alabasta. Mihawk has future sight that we kind of saw in Marineford arc, barely, probably not like Shanks though. We saw Luffy use future sight fighting Mihawk. Not Mihawk use it. People have Kizaru mid-diffing Beckman because of Ryokugyu's Wano statement about Yonko commanders. That statement was BS. Yamato just hit him right after that with Advanced Conquerors Hockey, and he was like, he wasn't that hurt, but he was like, yo, what the hell was that? And Yamato is like roughly commander level, above Yonko commanders a little bit. Yeah, no one agrees with you with Green Bull. And we know his personality. He's just an arrogant guy. I like to personally call the Yonko Commander 1+ tier the Warlord tier now, since I think the majority of Warlords will be on that tier in the near future. I have him above that tier in terms of Hancock and Crocodile, and then I have Weevil below that tier. But those are the only Warlords really left in the story to go from here, so they're going to have to be very, very strong. I trust the Red Hair Pirates and Marineford feats. Yes, sir. Beckman isn't a commander. He's a first mate. Oda has portrayed a clear difference in the roles. Yes, he has, and I made a video on that, actually. I made a video specifically discussing the difference between vice captains and first mates, vice captains / first mates, and first Yonko commanders. And if you haven't already, go check out the video. I'll put it here. And this is why I rate guys like Rayleigh, guys like Beckman, guys like Zoro, because it's a different portrayal altogether. It's a total different portrayal. Okay, I'm thinking we're going to end this soon. But before we do, again, as always, I want you guys to drop down out of 10 where you rank this chapter. All of you guys. Is it a 9 out of 10? Is it a 10 out of 10? Is it an 11 out of 10? Give it a ranking out of 10. For me, it's not as good as 1081, but it's a really good chapter. So I'm gonna give it and I'll tell you why I took away that 0.5. I'm gonna give this chapter a 9.5 out of 10. All you guys drop your rankings right now. The reason I give it a 9.5 and not a 10 is because of the way it ended. I'll tell you all about what really happened at the Holy Land of Mary Joel. Had that been, this could have been a good opportunity to drop a bomb, drop a bomb on us. Like he could have said something so crucial here that we're all just like, what? But even though it's an answer, it still leaves questions, and then we're all dying. Like this doesn't make me say I can't wait for 1083. It's not a good ending. It's not a cliffhanger ending. It doesn't make me any more in anticipation for the next chapter, because I'm having a hard time believing we're even going to get this next chapter or ever. This is going to be an off-screen conversation from this point on. So had this been something that would actually be a great cliffhanger, this would have been a perfect chapter. But the chapter, it has the first page in this chapter, the first panel, the first picture we see is a 10 out of 10 opening to a chapter. If only it ended with a strong cliffhanger, but it didn't. So I'd give it a 9.5, because other than that, it was amazing. The pacing was amazing. The character development we've seen from Buggy was amazing. The plot moved forward with stuff like Buggy going after the One Piece. Stuff like Sabo sitting down with them and telling them what he saw. So the plot's moving forward. A lot of great stuff. John Phillips gives it a 9 out of 10. Interesting. Even less than I did. But it's a great chapter. I think it is. It's around a 9.5. Cosmos gives it an 11. So he must have absolutely loved this chapter. Ringo gives it a 9. Yeah, I think Almighty gives it an 8.9 cliffhanger chapter. I think it wasn't a cliffhanger. To me, I know it's supposed to be a cliffhanger, but when you understand Oda for all these years, we know Oda so well. I'm like, I read this and I'm like, yeah, Oda's gonna off-screen this. I have no faith that I'm gonna click on 1083 and see this conversation continuing. But to be fair, the past few chapters, Oda has been surprising us. When I saw the ending of 1076, I did not think we were going to get news of Shanks versus Kid for like another year, let alone actually see the fight 3 chapters later. If that was the old Oda, we would have went a year without hearing about it, maybe 2 years, and then just hear about it on the newspaper and what happened. So Oda really is changing his ways now. But so Almighty 8.9, Cosmos 11, John 9, Ringo 9. Are we scaling it with Shonen Jump or are we scaling it with One Piece? We're scaling it with only One Piece, just One Piece. One Piece, it's 8 out of 10. Shonen Jump, it's 12 out of 10. Fair enough. So just scale it with One Piece. I would give it a 9.5. I was gonna say a 9, like John Phillips did at first and Ringo, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, they gave us a lot of different things and they gave us a lot of it. So like they gave us a good amount of Sengoku and Tsuru and T-Bone being dead, and they're showing us the consequences of Navy bounties and what the influence that Buggy's really creating right now. Then we cut to Buggy. We get a whole lot of Buggy. We get character development, more insight on his character and what happened with him and Shanks. We see him finally swallow down his insecurities and just... It's like that moment where Kobe was so afraid of saying he wants to be an admiral because he thought it sounds so ridiculous. And he says it and Luffy's like, yeah, that's what I expect from you if you're going to fight me. Like, be proud. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, son. And so Buggy finally said it with his chest. And we didn't know he wanted to say this. We had no idea. So that already makes it bare minimum 9 for me. But then because we also see the stuff with the Revolutionary Army, I'd give it a 9.5. Fantastic chapter. Rest in peace, T-Bone, man. Moment of silence for T-Bone, bro. Makes me want to go get a T-Bone steak now in his memory. Caesar and Judge will save Vegapunk unintentionally trying to avenge. It's possible. But guys, we hit the 2-hour mark, I think, for the first time on a stream. This was a good one. The crew pulled in. The boys pulled in. Almighty Lambo, Cosmos, Ringo, John Phillips. Good to see you guys as always. Sosa, Monkey D. Luffy 24 was in here earlier. Who else? Drums of Liberation, Brunks was in here. Branks was in here earlier. So we got a good crew this time. Same faces. Love to see it. There's no... Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but there's no break, right? So there's a chapter coming out in 2 days. I'll be home. That should be before I leave for my next trip. So I should be able to react to that one as early as possible. I should definitely be able to react to that one. Let me know, guys. Comment down. There's no break, right? Because I was under the impression, and some of you guys told me last time that there was going to be a break after 1081. So I wasn't expecting this. And then I just heard a couple people message me and told me the chapter dropped. And I was like, what? I thought it was coming up a week from now. No chapter. No break. Ah, man. Okay. There it is. We got this one earlier. Oh, so there is a break. We just got this chapter earlier, and now we're going into the break. Okay, gotcha. Thanks for letting me know, guys. So 2 weeks from now then. Sosa dropped an 8.5 out of 10. Interesting. It was a good chapter, yeah, but I personally think it could have ended better. We got next week's chapter this week. So we were supposed to get this chapter this week coming up. Okay, so now we're going to go on the week break and then continue. Okay. I get it. Chapter came out early, so no chapter this week. But because of stuff with Golden Week, it actually is another week for us, I think. All right, well, thank you guys for coming. The usual faces. Appreciate you guys always pulling up. Like the stream if you haven't already. Let's get it to 20 likes. It's at 19 likes right now. Let's get it to 20. Let's get it to 20, guys. And I will see you guys soon when I drop another video or the next live stream 2 weeks from now when chapter 1083 comes out. But I'm definitely going to try and get a video out before then for sure. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.